We just got some huge news. Heng and March 7th are getting brand new forms in Honkai Star Rail. That alone is exciting, but what makes it even more interesting is how drastically their roles are changing. In this video, I'll break down everything we know so far, how their transformations affect their gameplay and lore, and what this means for future updates. Save up to 23% on the current banners at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description. Before we dive into the details, a quick heads up. This video contains potential story and character spoilers for upcoming versions. If you'd rather experience these reveals firsthand in the game, now's your chance to click away. Otherwise, let's get into everything we know so far. Heng has already been through some of the biggest transformations in Honkai Star Rail, and now things are about to shift once again. His new form, Delos, is said to be a 5-star fire preservation and is set to release in version 3.4. Leakers have compared Heng's new form, Delos, to Zhuge Liang in Fate Grand Order, and it's a fitting reference. In FGO, Zhuge Liang is technically a fusion of two individuals, Waver Velvet, a strategist from modern times, and Zhuge Liang, the legendary Three Kingdoms tactician. However, the key detail here is that Waver remains in full control. He isn't being possessed, nor is his personality altered. He simply gains access to Zhuge Liang's immense knowledge and power, but he himself makes all the decisions. This is exactly what is happening with Heng's transition into Delos. Unlike other characters who might undergo a transformation that alters their personality or places them under an external influence, Delos is still entirely Heng. He is not being controlled by another will. He is evolving on his own terms while drawing from a new power source. This could mean that instead of this form being something foreign or imposed upon him, it is a natural progression of his abilities, a step toward becoming stronger without sacrificing his identity. March 7th is set to receive a new 5-star form called Etifia, which will follow the Remembrance path and is set for the first phase of version 3.6. Unlike Heng's new form, which represents a controlled evolution, March 7th's transformation is something entirely different, a complete possession. Leakers have compared March 7th's transformation to Ishtar Rin-Tosaka from Fate Grand Order, and this reference tells us a lot about what's happening to her. In FGO, Ishtar is a Mesopotamian goddess who takes over Rin-Tosaka's body, but the possession isn't absolute. Rin's personality still influences her. This creates an unusual dynamic where Ishtar, despite being a divine being, still retains some of Rin's mannerisms, speech patterns, and emotions. This is exactly what's happening with March 7th's Etifia form. Unlike Heng, who remains in full control of himself as Delos, March is being overtaken by another entity, and that entity's personality takes over. What's especially interesting is that this was foreshadowed earlier with leaks about a dark March 7th. If we take the Ishtar comparison seriously, it suggests that March 7th might still exist within Etifia, but as a passive presence, one that may slightly influence Etifia's behavior, but doesn't have actual control. This raises a major question. Who or what is Etifia? If March 7th has been fully possessed, is this a case of her being controlled by an Aeon, a lost part of herself, or an entirely new being? We don't have those answers yet, but one thing is clear. This isn't just March 7th with a new power. This is something completely different, a new entity that is using her body as a vessel. March 7th isn't the only character taking on the Remembrance path. Based on current info, Honkai Star Rail is expected to introduce a total of 8 Remembrance characters throughout the 3.x updates. While not officially confirmed, if this information holds true, it suggests that Remembrance is becoming a major focus in the game's future. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you excited for these transformations? Do you think Remembrance characters will be strong enough to shake up the game? And what are your theories on how these changes fit into the story? Drop your thoughts below, and as always, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Honkai Star Rail updates.